So you said that ethics is the principled negotiation of conflicts of interest under conditions of shared purpose. I know you mentioned that you just reread Thomas Aquinas, and you even gave, I think you gave a PowerPoint presentation talking about the shared purpose and what that means to you.
The notion of shared purpose occurred first to me when I tried to understand love. And love is distinct from falling in love, right? Falling in love is a courtship mode. It's one where you go temporarily insane to the degree that you think that a particular person is the only person that you can possibly find happiness with in the world. And this illusion can be completely intoxicating, especially if it's mutual. But it tends to disperse after a couple of years or so. And after that, you hopefully still love each other. And love is something that is independent of being in love, right? It's almost orthogonal to it. And love is what lets us interact in a non-transactional way with each other. So by giving something to somebody you love, you don't expect anything in return. You just do this because you love them. And what does this mean structurally and functionally? And I think it means that you realize that the one that you are giving the things to are saving the same purposes as you are. And saving the same purposes is not the same purposes in your own organism, but the purposes above the ego. Right? Most of us feel that there are things that motivate us that are way more important than our own ego. Once you realize this, you notice that keeping up your ego, propping it up, is a lot of work. Right? What do you do it for, right? What's the goal of having an ego and serving your organism and dressing well and jumping through all the hoops that you are required to pretend to have a high status or whatever, right? So eventually the goal is that there are things in life that are more important than you, that you can serve best by playing your part in a particular way, right? And your ego becomes instrumental to these things. And we can call these things the sacred. And the sacred are the functions that have a longer game than the ego. They can be the relationships that you are part of. They can be the relationship that you have to your children and your grandchildren and their descendants, and the relationship that you have to society as a whole, to systems of ideas, to memeplexes that you are serving, right? The relationships that we have to the systems that we are part of. And it turns out we are not just agents that are self-interested, so the self being the model of the organism and its place in the world, but we are systemic agents, we are state-building agents, we are agents that want to serve larger things. And this hierarchy of purposes that we construct with Maslow, it ends somehow in self-actualization, which I think is an insufficient and short-sighted perspective. The hierarchy ends in the sacred, in everything that is above you. And if the sacred for you becomes a sentient agent that you're part of, that you are implementing by the shared interaction with other people, that you coordinate well enough to let sentient agency emerge on the next level, then traditionally we call this next level agent or the sacred God, right? So what does God want you to do would be if we all organize together in such a way that sentient agency emerges in our structured interaction as a pattern. What is required from the individual to let the sentient agency emerge with the right aesthetics?